Hi again, welcome back to the second devlog for Discount Dan's Everything Must Die, a co-op deck builder card game. This is very impromptu, none of this is scripted, I only really have a couple of minutes to make this, so it's going to be what it's going to be. First things first, we're going to jump into some gameplay, and this time I'm going to load a game first, because I've kind of rigged it and set myself up with some pretty good cards. You'll notice up in the top cards played section that'll break a little bit. I was working on that a while earlier and I broke it. Don't know what I broke, but I'll get to fixing that. So there's not a whole lot to show on the surface of things, so we'll just go over this quickly and then I'll talk about all the work I've done behind the scenes on the code base, and obstacles I've faced, or obstacles I've overcome, etc, etc. So first we'll play that card, we'll get one attack, and you can see up here the evil SOBs. I've now started making Hudson's Red Hands. So we'll try to take out this first one, Richard Johnson. We'll use again some of our Marvel cards because more of those have their effects complete, so we'll get to do like extra draws and such like that. This is part of what's breaking the cards played section over here. So you can see it's like, definitely we played more cards than that, and they're going in a weird order. See, we've now generated 8 attack, so we'll defeat Richard Johnson. And then he goes down into our victory pile, and now we have our face tattoos up here. We don't have any attack left, but let's say that we did. Let's just go to our next turn. Yep, next turn. Blight infestations, I've got to talk about those as well. They're in progress, but the idea is that they'll come from the dwellers deck every so often. They'll attach themselves to the dwellers, and they'll make them twice as powerful, making them much harder to defeat, just kind of like Blight does in the books, but it also doubles the victory points, is going to be the idea. For now, I've just programmed it to go over to the evil sons of bitches, because I haven't finished programming that yet. But you can see here, so I've started working on some unique effects, so face tattoos here, he can only be damaged if a psionic card has been played. So first we're going to play our trusty hammer, which is a physical attack card, and you can see we've got one attack here, but we can't hurt face tattoos. But now, if we play one of these cards, which I've just, for the sake of testing, marked as a psionic attack card, now we've played a psionic attack card, and it will let us apply damage to him. Although we can't defeat him, because, oh, maybe we can generate enough damage this time. Look, 5. Yeah, we got enough. Let's take down face tattoos. There we go. And then we got Natasha Arno. I wonder if I can get through all the evil SOBs. Let's see if we can win a game here. I'm just being mindful of how many cards I'm playing each round, because there's no fail-safes at the moment for if a card tries to draw more, and there's none left in the deck. So we might go to the next turn and see if we can finish this game. We're going to win this one, I reckon, because I gave myself a stacked deck. Ooh, oh, not quite enough this turn. Yeah, no, we can't really. Let's just take one of these guys. So finish turn. And then very shortly after I do this, we'll get into, oh gosh. Oh, I acquired a wound at some point. That's pretty broken at the moment too, but you can see these wound cards, they can't be played, they can't do anything. I will allow you to play them at some point, but they won't do anything, and it's just to ruin your deck. So now I draw an extra card, but instead of it being something good, it's just a wound. And that's what these little, you can see it says 5 attack on the enemy cards, so that means he'll inflict 5 wounds to you unless you have enough defense to counter that. So let's take down Braxton Warhawk here. Then we can take down his final form, and then we should win. We should win being the operative word. Obviously that's broken at the moment. We're going to get a little more into that in a second, but usually that would be the winning condition, defeating all the evil SOBs, but I guess I've broken the game somehow while fixing things. Alright. Okay. So, these are just some quick notes I made earlier, so I know exactly what I'm discussing. First off, we'll start with the refactoring efforts since the first video. So the main thing I focused on is modularity. This is for a few primary reasons. A, it's going to make creating diverse card effects a lot easier if I'm not rewriting the same code again and again and again. And I can just reuse those module scripts for different card types. The second thing that's helped with is reducing repetition, so minimizing potential for bugs. I have found so many bugs while doing this that I never noticed in gameplay testing before. And obviously I've introduced some new ones, as you saw before. But yeah, this is having things be more modular and being more robust is really going to help reduce the potential for bugs, because instead of creating new code each time, it's going to be the same code. And if there's a bug there, I can fix it for everything. It's also going to help, having more module code is going to help with future features that I might add. So at the moment there's the ability to mod the artwork. In future I may consider adding the ability to add custom cards altogether. And that modularity is really going to help with that, because then you as a creator will be able to say, well, I want it to use this card effect, and I want it to draw this many cards, or I want it to only be effective against this, or etc, etc. And of course, network multiplayer, the more I can reduce the well, not complexity, but the more I can reduce the amount of crazy repetition I have, the easier it would make multiplayer, because I would only need to sync fewer scripts. So refactoring has been a huge effort this last week, so even if things don't look majorly different on the surface, there is a lot of refactoring that's going on under the hood. I'm trying to avoid ending up in like a Yandere dev situation. So next we've got some design considerations. So sound, I've worked a little bit on, again, modularity with the sound, and now that that's all handled by a few scripts, it's easier to add or remove sounds for things. And I was wondering, well, I'm thinking about, do I just want to stick purely to sound effects, or I could even consider some VO. I don't know if this would be allowed, but the audiobook has some great lines of Dan saying some things, you know, like sorry, just keeping an eye on my baby. The audiobook has some great lines of Dan saying some things, and some dwellers saying some things, or making sound effects, and maybe I could implement those into the game, you know, kind of like an RTS when it you build a unit and they say something generic. Also graphics. Again, this comes down to the whole AI thing. I really don't love using it, but at the moment I've got to. And also just other graphics. Do you guys like how the game's looking so far? Is it too visually distracting, etc.? Fonts. This is kind of a big one, because the font I'm using at the moment, I've got like this 1980s NES sort of looking font, and that's to simulate sort of that overlay that he gets in the books. But I feel like it can be a little unreadable, and I'm just wondering, should I go for a more practical font, or do you guys like the NES font? So again, that comes down to readability and practicality versus style and clean looks, and tooltips. I want to try and have as many of those in the game as possible, because I really want this to be something you can just pick up and play. And then last of all, what should I be aiming for in the vertical slice? Because each one of these potential features could add huge significant time investments, like a tutorial. I had some ideas for maybe having a tutorial where the evil SOBs are replaced by Croc, taking on various forms as he's teaching a new dweller. That would be fun, and maybe I could add some Croc voice lines in there with my fantastic Croc impression. No, it's terrible, I know, but if I could find someone that can do a good Croc voice. Just some custom scenarios as well. Do I want to allow those? Maybe I could, with that custom game feature, have a setting where you can decide what cards are in play, etc. That could add a lot more versatility to the game, but also time investment. Do I want multiple evil SOBs? Do I want just the Hudson's Red Hands, or do I want to add in the Drumbo's Band, or whatever it's called, at the end of the game? I'm a big fan of animatronics, so that would be fun. Progression as well. Does this want to become more of a low-key Slay the Spire type thing? That's a huge time investment, but maybe you could pick a few cards at the end of each game that you could carry over into the next match. So after you defeat Hudson's Red Hand, you get to keep your deck. part of your deck. I don't know. Just some ideas. And then last of all, I just want to say, obviously I feel like I have a few deadlines with this whole project. So first of all, there's kind of the deadline of, I'm very lucky in Australia. I get quite a lot of paternal leave. And that's allowed me, I mean, I have a lot less time than I did when I was working, but obviously I have more time staying home at the moment, looking after the baby, than I would doing that and also going to work. So how much time do I really have to invest? And there's other projects I just want to work on as well on the side. James himself, he's doing this sort of anthology thing. That could be fun to invest some time into. I do enjoy writing, as you can see from all my card descriptions. It's definitely something I would like to spend some time on, but we'll see. I want to make this project my priority for now. That's sort of everything. So if you have any thoughts, anything you want to write in the comments down below, just let us know, and catch you in a week or two.